All right, today is June 21st, 2021. It's Monday. So here we had another textbook gold trade, just like we had quite a few times last week. So if we come on the hourly here, we see that we had this nice push up during pre-London and London. We had some push up as well during Asian session, and we were pushing up through this clean candle here. Um, So when I got on the charts this morning around 6 o'clock, we were right here. We had just formed a resistance, and we were slowly coming down. So originally, I was expecting some type of support to be formed here. I was maybe expecting this hourly candle to wick down and then continue up, considering this big rejection wick we had here, indicating that it may want to go up after breaking these highs. But it ended up just ranging for a very long time. If we go on the lower time frames here on the 15 minute, you can see it was a very tight range, just pretty much barcoding for, I think it was about 4 hours that it barcoded. And it was respecting this low over and over. Now, higher time frame wise, obviously until this breakdown happened, I was more confident in buys for the higher time frame. My only concern was I wasn't sure where I would want to take my entry, because we had all these wicks. Then we also had bodies closing way up here, and we also had a wick up here, a wick up here. So I was unsure of where I would want to take a trade. The safer option for buys would have been for me to wait for some type of close above these wicks. Like if we had a close here, sorry about that, then that would indicate that buys would be good. But I was expecting after this much ranging that when volume would kick in, it would be a massive move, and we wouldn't have time to wait for the close. So then I decided that I would prefer sells, and that's when around NY open we started to get these sells. So obviously I still have a trade running. I'm hoping to come down to this zone. I secured 90% of my profits around this area right here, which was where this candle wicked down to, in this area where there's rejections, had rejections over here. Somewhere in this area I secured most of my profits, but I have a runner going hopefully to my final take profit, which is down here, which I think we may get to. Especially with this much volume, we may not even get a retrace. It may just continue all the way down, and continue down. Because overall, especially fundamentally, I am still bearish on gold. I think this was just, after this massive move, we had to have like some type of decent push up. Well, we didn't have to, but there was a good chance, especially at a major support like we were at. Anyway, so we'll get into the trade I took quickly, talk about that. So this was obviously needed to be executed. Well, not needed to be, but it was easier to execute on the super low time frames. So obviously we had this area that I mentioned that was the strong support. So the easiest entry would have been right here at 8 o'clock. Our 5 minute candle broke down and closed. Now, as you can see, I'll get rid of this so we can see a bit better. As you can see, we did have no wick, which usually is ugly. When there's no wick, we don't usually like to take trades. Now, the only thing I'm learning is with gold, if it's like at the top of a move, like if we got no wick like down here or like down here, then I would take into consideration the no wick rule. But in a situation like this, I've noticed that just means that there's so much volume, that there was zero pullbacks towards the end of this candle. And sure enough, it barely wicked up and then it continued dropping. So actually, I've been trying to get better with the 1 minute candles. You have to be very careful on the 1 minute time frame, because you really have to know how you're watching it when you compare it to the higher time frames, because I'm not using the same rules that I use on the higher time frames per se. Like I am in some cases, but I watch it more for like what these wicks mean, what it really means in more detail. I don't really base trades off it as much. I just use it to get a bit more information. So what happened here was this 1 minute candle here at 8:03. I remember that this basically printed this size. It like teleported downwards. So like it didn't open and then boom, 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 start breaking down. It like it surprised me. I was like, whoa, what the hell just happened? It opened and it was just immediately this size. The second it opened, it was this size. So that tells me, whoa, there's a lot of volume right now. This volume is really kicking in. So when I saw that happen, I was ready for a sell. And this candle, we got the wick up, and then I wanted to enter on the break of this a little, but it jumped down to here, broke my zone, and at that point, I was fully confident and I was in. If we come on to the 5 minute, pretty simple. It continued down. This was a completely zero drawdown trade. And this was all just based off the fact that gold range like this, when we saw it breaking, when we had confirmation that volume has entered the market and we're breaking this strong support, we had all this clean traffic to here, here. It's just like a bunch of trades last week. That's why we love when this happens. We love when gold's ranging like this, especially with such a pretty precise support. Up here, the resistance was a little bit messy. We had a resistance here, 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 some wicks here, but here it was all pretty much the same spot. So that made it really, really easy to take sells here. It was zero drawdown, so it was awesome. Looks like if we manage to break this low, I will manage to go and hit my full take profit. But either way, I have 90% secured, and I've been trailing my stops. So awesome trade today, and that's it for today. Just the one trade.